Thank you.
당가서 디녀가 니 지진 상태 가버렸잖아. 아니 지라니 시치다 샤와스니디가. 가두텔라니 지년배서도 셰배서 니셰네. 나 지년배 그 저때단도 디지 소슴비. 아, 드니 제위스.
So we're up to the topic on how to listen to and then teach Dharma. And so we, in the preceding teaching, so we finish about the how to listen to, or the manner of listening to dharmas.
Tatani ani chishepa tela ani chishepa potuma tela ani chishepa porunela kulonla ni ta chishesa koza tela ni pensen chikne lune ani shegya pato dodna na ta chikang shepa te ta jite chijedo tanji manjewaji goye sares.
Not just to now continue with it, with the teaching on the how to teach the dharmas. So this concerns with the persons who give dharma discourse. In the relating to like the what kind of the motivation, for instance, the motivation that he should, or the mental attitude that he should have. So his or her motivations for giving dharmas, should be mainly to benefiting other beings, to benefiting the those to the listeners. And then he or she should also make sure that your motivation or your mind is not corrupted by any of what we call as 8 worldly concerns.
Castle and Jenate, and Roland Nebata in the shed, and Chile Meta in the Shene, or Tandri, but that then Moji, Nin de Castle, Chishing in a social membata, and a Chesatella Nebata, and a Chile Meta, and a Tandri, the Shenaji, Jago is a Kanje, Dodanata, Peasant chicken long set, and Sigurta, Pembi chicken and Sunku or Esene. So just as we learned about that when listening to dharmas, then we should have 3 recognitions, cultivate 3 recognitions. That is that the considering oneself as a listener to the dharma, as oneself as a patient. And the dharma as a medicines, and then and the teacher as a doctors. So likewise, I think the teacher or the one who give the teaching so should also have the same kind of these 3 recognitions, so which is to regard himself as someone like a doctors, and then the listener, the patient, and the dharma as medicines. So the bottom line is that he or she must ensure that your motivation is really purely to helping and benefiting others. 네야 지생게티 이치미치는 토톰보진 걸 때는 시그에 사마레스로와 아니 샤도 쇼라다 수조루 펜시난다 노밀난다 가레난다 수조로 니 페세지 끈에 오네니다
ane pe toya tani sheji na te kol she na ane chi she wan ro yes res.
Now, when we teach the Dharma, when we're teaching the Dharma, it is not necessary that that in order to teach Dharma that you have to be really sit on like a formal throne or some like a chair. So this teaching of Dharma can also occurs in our daily lives, when when we can this can occur when you are interacting or communicating with your family members or your friends and others. So in this in a very informal, in a casual manner, when you can mentioning them or about the Dharma. So that is also it means that you are also teaching the Dharma to other beings.
Ona ane shesate kandaji kuorela na shesate ta mutusetel ta ngichi yapo shingi chirang ngasa nyeha shusene ane mutusetel la de ndigo mares ta ndole karsu yorsene maso wa majawo wasene ane tesuyan karsena chi sheru chi sene chi mala masona ane sheyo maresene titendo teteni shego yores maso wa majawo so ayo matana.
And as to whom we should one should give to teach the Dharma, and then it is said in there's one sutra which says that do not give dharmas, without being requested. So the implication is that the dharma should not be so freely and easily giving to anyone, that who you come across, and so therefore. It is according to this, what is this said in sutra. So there should be should be taught after being requested.
Tani ndotene tani sunjo yerte tela misaji kariyorsena ane pashu tiga susol shia mashina yu susol pashu la kesi shia wa ina kol pemba yirenduna. Kol pemba jidone tani ji pethuye wa hakuye hakone tani redena ani misari shechu yores.
However, the what is mentioned in this sutra, has some exceptions. So that is the exception is that if one believes that and if one fully understand that if that other person, if you teach Dharma to that other person, so if it will be very beneficial for that person's, and then it is said that it is okay to even if one is being not requested, then because one one see that the benefit of the Dharma to that person, so therefore it is okay to give Dharma to others.
Niya ni konsajo gandri songda chishi di tsala niya chishi sosu nomba imbi chane ni numbe chi de peya ga chet chene ni she de na ya bose yo mares ani sosu ge peya chet chi she we na ni pashu ya chi chulu jamba to peya ga chi che ani chi che tani pa chu chi mombo che de we na ni zo nju del rewola ni ganga ji tesi mares jeza ani tani zo na ya wo yo mares ni songdos.
And in addition to this, then His Holiness Dalai Lama also, they emphasize that
in giving teaching, in teaching Dharma. So our motivation should not be to just to like propagate, to the dharmas and your own dharmas. And so if because these kind of motivations of propagating your own belief systems, then it can also then encourage then the others to propagate their their belief systems, and so the end result can be very competitive and very it can be very conflicting. So therefore it is important that this is not the that the propagation of one's belief system is not our motivations for giving teachings.
다 소소 얘나 패센지 아니 끝내는 지시와이나 드니기 지시와 때니 다 바시 주고 맞죠 뇨래는 거 아니 짐배 바시 진뇨래는 거요레스.
So with the out of the motivation of giving dharmas, and then if you give teachings, then it is if we take into account of the 6 perfections, 6 deeds, 6 perfections deeds, then this will be this is giving of dharma. So it is a part of the perfection of giving.
다 드니고 니 짐바텔라요 맞죠 치지 짐바다 소시기 짐바 먼지 바샤 짐바 서이 비 눈에 아니 치지 짐바테 되는데 chút 집하나들스.
So when we regarding the practice or the perfection of giving, so there are 3 types, as you know. There's in terms of giving of material objects, giving of dharmas, and giving of protections, against fears or against threat, life-threatening threat to life. So, and then of these 3, it is said that the giving of dharma is the supreme one.
디송 가서 내용 되게 지연시네. 다 놀라 지름부 되게 되고 거라고. 대인자다 몸몸보지. 아니 셀니 강님은 뭐 용거에 생도. 대인자다 대sol라니 가서티 지근운에 라자나고더니 소수그 루파레 드니 좀 받친세더니 대지 시에도와다. 아니 소소용니 드니 근지 녀스를 해도에나 아니 옆에 편도에 just this.
So especially in this time of the pandemics, so in which where people have been the isolated, they've been due to the social lockdowns. So there will be I do hear that there are a lot of people out there, who are undergoing a lot of such difficulties of such being of isolations and such the difficulty related to their the mental well-beings and so on. So in this time it is really very beneficial, especially very beneficial if you could in any way that you can help others, who can benefit. You can through sharing your dharma knowledge, and and also of course the not only to sharing dharma with others, but in this time it's also even for oneself. So perhaps this the applying the dharma practice probably will be very beneficial.
다 던지가 가서 세마시 비가 다 둥아대 아니 자샤 구축됐다 소소소 노도 제산주지です 노도네 대 셈바데 시로를 파동하니 시로를 다시 보여왔더니 그 노와 차더니 딘디그 노도 지내니 다 셈바데 마치와 제산주지です 자샤 그치대
so the when we if we examine the cause of the kind of the unhappiness or the problems that we find, and especially if it's the problem which is related to our mind, like related to our thought, then we can understand in that kind of situation where we can say about like 90% of the cause of our mind is then directly related to our thoughts.
다 대송을에 데데살아야 자갈 방아서 공부하노라 두버들 가봐던거와 고초니 내어데 렌다 로니스로서 저gem바실로 마테네 로스 세게도 이날 샘플 강에 치는 분도 있어요. 안토니 송도 있어.
So in India, so in the monastery, so I have many a friend, among friends, and with whom so we do time to time I do catch up with them over the phone but so despite the fact that they have been just like everyone here, they have been really locked in their room for now nearly 2 years, but they're all saying that despite that that mentally they don't have any problem or any issue, difficulties at all.
아티마세네 투포가제는 비 다 마네 신의 제마타야 던디 그 몸보지 치야 보지 저타서 딜로니 etc. 소소 마데루 데네 차네 놀 데데 인자네 나 드마타야 그네 치 몸보 저도 세네 세발 가오치 근데 서와 저다 강갈로니 다 어느 산발 노토데죠 노토 두어도 좀 마제we 니 저거 가리라 데네니 다 sembaci boyong de khore sirwa.
So in fact some of my friend actually said that saying that this has given being in the locked in the house in the area has given them a new opportunity for them to find a time to practice dharmas, and really they have utilized that time to catch up with certain practice or to learn certain things which certain area of the Dharma which they were not able to do previously, and so therefore there's some of my friends actually then saying quite a positive things about this being locked in their in their house, and so so what I'm trying to say to you is that how whatever the situation is we are in, but how we feel and whether we feel happy or unhappy, we feel relaxed or not. So how is a lot to depends on our own state of mind. How calm is our mind is.
테마체네 수제존에 지금 절에 가르치는잖아. 가르치는 것은 넘바 도파 니 개인데스. 개는 롱기 생래 쉬니스. 생라 루지 메시나 네 예노 네 게시 샤워 메스. 다 대ten도 가르치는 맞죠. 개도 dende chi se susol ne dingi tano chaso te notu sengi te ne susol ne wa sengi ge no bote res te kawani chungo warsene te susu ki sene chungo yo res rwa o teni chungo yo res.
So regarding how these our thought, these conceptual thoughts, if they are not brought under our control, how they can be a great source of a problem for oneself. So there's a quotation from one tantra by the Buddhas. So where he says that the conceptual thoughts are hindrances, and they arise from one's mind, but by realizing the mind is lacking an intrinsic nature, there is no other hindrance as such. So what's this the quotation is saying is that when we think of the cause of the harm and that we receive in our life, that we face in our life, or if you like the harm giver, when we think of that, then really it is the main one is our own thought, the untamed, our mind is the main one, or this thought is the main one, and then where does this thought, which these disturbing thoughts, where does that comes from? When we check, and then as it says in that sutra, it arises from one's own mind.
Anta tani no to te mewa kar che gur sigana ani mewa te ani soso ko sang pa ta shan ju jire ma to korang ni ne de ma chine tge yo ma re se ani tani go shita soso na ani tani go no to te yu de yo ma re se ne tani shi go yo res.
And then the thought, and then this in the quotations, we also understand that then when we, if we examine how these thoughts exist, then its existence is just really our own the extension of, or the elaboration of our own mind. So in another word, it is just something imputed by our own mind, and so therefore it doesn't have its own existence from its own right, or in another word, it hasn't got a intrinsic existence of by itself. And so therefore when we realizing this how this thought is lacking this intrinsic existence, then by realizing that, then we can kind of destroy, or we can dismantle this thought to exist.
Teda ane tiong chi she na ngaso chi tu gejang nga cha ngaglo la ngaso pyo mombo ni ta jaga da pyu da tni le ane chi tu chone mombo yong yo ro tinji ge no la ta phaji trawa jin sa re ko ane chi tu gejang nga cha ngaglo la ne jaga le jaga momi no la ane lo kha she ji de ne tne pha na ne pyu ge ane tu se to a ji la ne sam de sa res.
So just let me share this a small stories. So about this monk, who in in the early 1959, due to Chinese occupation of Tibet, so he left Tibet and then arrived in Nepal, and where in somewhere in a remote Nepal, and then he through Nepal, then to India, and then after arriving in India, he actually joined the Indian Army. Then after serving in the army for several years, then he traveled to Nepal, and then where he did some sort of like a retreat in one remote place.
And some days Nemachi Gulni, Kuron Somti Kumbati Jalun, much Kashi Geshene. Nita Pewachito Yakanga, Nepali Shunga, Pajami Shun Zite Research, Ki Anu Kodeshas.
No. And while he was doing his retreat in that remote place, so there were some not far from that there were so he could hear some there are some other peoples, local people who are not far from where he is retreating, talking about the Nepalese, like the border police, they are trying to arresting Tibetan who are refugee, and then to send back or to return to give back in the hands of the Chinese the border officers.
Tandiji Nimachil Koisa, Nimakashi Jala, Yunju Kechateko, Tandji Kechat Tema Muki Koyan this.
So not once, but for he heard the same, the things, conversations that from those, the Nepalese police, border police, for few more days.
Anita Kotik Sendenda Ochene, and Senere, Tuni. Ota Patsite Sunanga Karche, Pugese, Sono Mubuto, Tamane, ne coach Solunda Ucha, ne Kororushija Shishados.
And so because of this, and then he started to, which made him worried that how then he started to think about if he get arrested, if Nepalese police found him, then he would be returned in the hands of the Chinese the authorities, and then if that happens, then he will start to think how they will put me in jail, or they will torture me, and so he keeps so over period of time, so he keeps just thinking over this, worrying and stressing himself over and over again, and then in fact as at the end he was worried so much that he then he ended up taking his own life.
So Ganga ni kro no to Geshe Mato, no to Karichesena, Kotongun Sona Pat de Salata, Nebali Shung Zitega, Menaso, Tendig Sentage Mujores. Tindig no to Che. And the Kumbeka Jalul, Tendi Shingi Chine Yomaris, Nebali Chuture, Peke Shingi Yomaris, King Nebali Shingomara. And then Peke Shingit and the Chu Yomarite, Coron no to the Tombo Panso de Disala, Tendig Shenoji, it's a tin no to the Une the Che de Disala. Ane Shilunet and the La Deva Kovada, Ane DHN and Suzu Chumares.
So his actual situation is that actually there is no Nepalese, police, near the place where he was, he was doing the retreat. There was no one at all, and you could also understand that even if there were some, they don't speak Tibetans at all, and so somehow he, of course, right from the when he first started the retreat, so he was there was some sort of concern, that worry that about that if he if they found him and then if he get arrested, he has some had that worry in his mind, and so therefore all the things during the time that he what he was hearing about is all created by his own mind, his own thought, and there was no real Nepalese police near that place, and so forth. So therefore, this story can see how how our own thoughts can become a real cause of harm, and brings the source of sufferings, and even those other than our thoughts, there was really no other real cause of concern there.
Antone tanda nga zo chipare ani nal dene ni sembar no to mobo she ta no jendene na tagare re ta tisu ani nol de chala tagare ani sembar no to mobo she de wena digi cheshene ni ani karisana sembar dunga de le ingores karisana non de le matsume pijilana rewo kong dupa jise je matsume me po tsare tani rewo dunga de le ingores o tani la gores.
So if we too are if not careful then about our own keeping eye and control on our own thoughts, then it can we can also become end up like a victim of our own thought, our own mind, and can bring us, our own mind can bring us a great deal of sufferings and worries, and so like there is another quotation. So this is from the Dhammakritti's text, Dhammakritti's text, commentary to his commentary to Valid Cognitions. So where is the master says, when all the causes are present, how can the result be prevented? So is which is to say that when the causes, the reason, in another word, we find problem in our life, and this is to, and when we find problem, so this is also, which we must also understand that, recognize that we find these problems. See, it's because all the causes, every single causes for that problem or the hardship are all have come together.
Tenaji ganga zu shinjule katichi siyana telam gachishayes. Katichi menana telam gachish pensine. Tam monje gatichi haku ejire. Tazolo tisojine sonotuneni knowledge-nani peabu resro.
And so it's very helpful to reflect when we face the difficulties and hardships, to reflect upon the fact that the difficulties are just all the result of the causes and so to understand if they, because the causes are there, these difficulties are inevitable there, and as well as to if we could reflecting on these like these Shantidevas, very famous, very well known a verse. There's a verse which many of you know, which says, if it can be remedied, then why be unhappy about it? And if it cannot be remedied, what is the benefit of being unhappy? So again, to reflecting on this, the instructions, advice. So it would be also very, we will find it very, helpful also.
Ani chi nyene lor ta nyene ne lo mombo no changye ta zoga ani te legend da ani tang khoe ge nyimi la supa sono to ne ani nyos le ta ya po yore ma to she tni ji uta nyos le ma ta na ani chi nyemi ko ma che vres.
And so especially if if you are one of those who have studied or heard about the Dharma, and particularly about this the LamRim teachings for over a long period of time, and then if you really in the time of the difficulty in facing in the life, in the adversaries in our life, so if you cannot really apply these teachings, if you do not find this teaching any beneficials, any relevant, then really what benefit? Then whatever we have learned, what knowledge of Dharma we have, then it's really have no value, no benefit for ourselves. So therefore it's also again from in the time of difficulty. So it's again to reflecting on our knowledge about like for example the law of cause and effect, and then the suffering like a nature of cyclic existence. So these are things which is good we need to reflect upon. We need to remind ourselves about all these things, and that way, then we will make some use. We will gain some benefit out of our Dharma knowledge.
Geshe Lobsang Yeshe ni di no la karasun lisana gibe lo tunde pichasela neje to cheran chete to susene ni ta tanga to chengem pata tinig neo chechene ta no degiti ursina dewate ani susupi gewa momboji sato pata tini tiseti momboji iza ni gewa momboji sato pata tini ko ka chi lento waina ani pe
Mm-hmm. And and there's also one verse from the teaching that I presented, before this, which is on 37 practices of bodhisattvas. So in there, so again, there's a verse which says something like. To bodhisattvas who wants a wealth of virtues, so all the harms are like a precious treasure. So again, these lines is again is guiding us, is giving us instructions about how how it is possible, how we can transform or the unfavorable,
situation into favorables, such as these, although this, this like a pandemic that we are facing now, so it may look very unfavorable situation, but how this we can make this turn this into favorable, and especially if it becomes favorable if we use that time, that the spare time that we've got to furthering our knowledge and our practice of Dharma.
Ninga tu pokajete pe apotono juice second to jenge to shashure sene talope jenge bati nol de ti pingine tungile shin mo zonga che tu chutni pa ande tasu sene ane tni pe gao ching de srwa ane tni ta zotane ya punge srwa.
Just as I was saying to you before, like in my interaction with some of my monks friends in India, in the monasteries, so there are some friends who are really taking a great joy in that fact that in this period of the lockdowns where they were able to to memorize so many texts and also be able to recite like a thick so many times of the text, like for example the essence of eloquent speech by the Tsong Khapas, which is quite a thick text, and then some monks my friends were really taking joy that they managed to recite the whole text, multiple time in this time, and which they feel so good about themselves.
Tangazon di lor di katula zapa pichewa chichewa chila nishe chita shawasne tiniga soye pinune ta ti tso ne lor chemule shipa shasne lor chemule shambu ze jon dusrwa ta shambu ze ne zapa pichewa katula ne di kasna topa nish ke jon dus.
So now just to go over a little bit on the where we left on this teaching on the LamRims. So we were in the last few weeks. So we were talking about the three main headings, outlines, heading of the LamRim teachings, where in this text, which the LamRim text, which says, we should refer to the Tsong Khapas, a great or the middling treatise to find more about that. So those outlines is the greatness of the authors, the greatness of the dharmas, and then of course then the how to listen and teach dharmas. So relating to this, to this, I raised couple of questions.
제장하다 네 도파 동보대 띵가서 띵을지 시차 있으러와 아니 대 도파 동보대 가원에 놓전세나 아니 제르무지가 러치미 오텔라 아니 다 된제파 보냐 닌제파 보고세 아니 대순바달에 때네 니 디도파대 놓전데스.
So if you can recall that this is the relating to that heading with the greatness of the author, right? So there's a questions which arise from there's one line which we find in the Tsong Khapa's the Great Treatise, which says the line which says the author of that is also the author of these.
Tela tene toba kanis londusena tela tene ni mukajendo ji kashi jigoni ani jerumbuchi ronya ne juje pade atchadoni kiji chiparisene yusinda osekrota nga kiji chiparesene tani ge shaji yege yoresene tani makashi ke tela junidela tin jewa tani jaga yores ina ta loren di sumba potiga te titendo mares jerumbuchi koro ne tani ge ta kenyo tene tani pa chenyo na tani chine zongi tani mares ne jesa titendo tani mares ne koro ne shichashin shewres.
So this, so the questions is relating to the interpretation of that Tsong Khapa's, saying the author of that is also the author of this. And if you recall, so there was one scholar who interpreted that as if the Tsong Khapa's, who's the obviously the author of the Great Treatise, and then the author of that which refers to the Atisha's text, which is the lamb for the path to enlightenment. So therefore, this scholar, posit that interpreted that in reality the Atisha and the Tsong Khapas are same continuums, same persons, and so therefore the Tsong Khapas mentioned that the author of that is author of this, and so however in this in here, so this the author of this LamRim, that this quick path that we are studying, so who then clarified that that's not that's not the right interpretations, and because by saying that this is not by saying that it's very unlikely that Tsong Khapas, who such a great master and practitioner, who is but a very humble practitioner, for him to be claiming himself as the same person as the Atishas. So this author of this LamRim, so trying to clarify, make some clarification about the meaning of that line. So last time I raised this question and asked you to do a bit of thought and bit of research. So maybe some of you might have already found out the actual meaning.
Yeah, no.
yeah, that's all.
Okay. 타이나다 도드나 아니 간이 순거였으나 아니 여러분치 대신나 아니 다 조버 바데아트 차데 뒤지지방이 레데요리테이노 그런 게 있으네 아니 샤지지가 말해서 이나요 다 로르 침비고 수인데 가르르스나 아니 다 로르 쳔보테 쇼주 랑어치 제마틱 아니 니스숨바 대치숨바 차송 마 신체 말로 빠지 제저야 인사 아니 로르 쳔미가 대치 좀바포테 아니 다 된다고 좀바포테 네 조비야 버티샤 레스네 네 대숭요 레스
지난 시기치고 인수고 뭐
시 그런 켈랭고
말라
아 좀 난지나 인수 레스 거라 뒤지지바 인종 는 두는 수인도 뒤지지바 인종 아니 제도니 좀 투신 사피로니 조 뒤지지바 니스샤 갈라지스로
So the author of this the quick path, so says that Tsong Khapas would not claim himself as the same continuum as the Atishas, who's Atishas. So even although in realities, they are same. Tsong Khapa is share the same continuum with Atishas, and so therefore now the point is now then why Tsong Khapa then made the statement that the author of that is also the author of this. So it is to really to give the credit of this his own writing, that's a great treatise, to Atishas, who's the author of the Lamp for the Path of Enlightenment, and there is a reason, because as far as Tsong Khapa is concerned, so his writing of this great treatise really just explained directly, explained exactly or precisely as what is the mention in the Atisha's Lamp for the Path of Enlightenment. So really, everything that is the mention in this great treatise is all related to the what is said, mentioned in the Lamp for the Path, and this is how this. So the author of this LamRim then explained the meaning of this line.
That gumba shinji malu pande sar tilasrawa. Ya ni topa nipa tela ni garisunu sana yung loyi Geshe les ta jaga na to pachi longali hetni yesarwa. Tandi loyi Geshe nola ni juji pel loche sun juyo resena tani sun jondu is. Ani te demba mares. Demba me garisana jerumbo chigo ni juji pel loche dun juyo resena sun jondu is.
And then in this text, there's also clarifies in terms of how many years the Atishas spent in Tibet. So which is because there was in some the clarification is made here, because in some like a travel guides, books where it was recorded that the Atisha spent 13 years in Tibet, and however, according to this, what is said in this text, is in fact Atisha spent 17 years in Tibet.
제상아 안타니 제름부치가 니 가와 쿤투 요르세나 제름부치가 쿤투 사테니 논솔로 자월 뒤존도 있어 논솔라서 다 제름부치가 조이가 논다 조단 쟁이 논솔로 자와싱이 콜투 존도 있어 니 다쿨 가른도세나 논솔로 자we 니 조제 빠데 아테체데 코로가 라마 로쭈구텐도 있어 로쭈구 니 자갈 로니 벨 로찌디 대템바테 가래 하고 그러세나 논솔로 자와 코로나 제피 니 조제 때와 제체 바시지 티노로 수존도 있어
낙솔로 자와
논솔로 자와
조지 로마 소라
조지 로마 그 조지 당마 자 덴데시가 로라고 자갈 로니스텐서로 드니 벨 덴데시 벨 로치 딤바도 덴스 코로나 좀비가 조지 때와지는 드니 수존도 있어
So in fact it is also it is mentioned in the Tsong Khapa's Great Treatise that that Atishas spent rather 17 years in Tibet, and the source for that the Tsong Khapa to show that Atishas 17 years in Tibet is related to the life stories of there's one great translator called Nakso Losawa, who was the disciple of the Atishas, and in that
life story of the translator, Nakso Losawa, it was mentioned that he in total, he studied, 19 years under the Atishas, and saying 2 years in India and 17 years in Tibet. So that was the source which the Tsong Khapa used to clarify the Atisha's time in Tibet.
제장하다 고나고티노 간에스 연디세나 네 론 적때 진루나요 체지 그즈툴라 저와이 예배 저와 저마슈와 통레게스 tinurchingle
인지도를 해야 되다.
인지도요래 예지를 봐지
그거잖아.
당고님 고님이지. 쇼니 쓰니 맞던 거면와. 도와. 론 찍때 진루나요. 체직그지 들란 저와이 예배 좀 동래게스.
쓰도 거다.
야가들로니 예배들로지.
So just in this LamRim, the quick part, so there's which reads, I think then 2 years later when you were coming to Tibet from Vikamala Sila, you said, after 18 years I will give up my life activities. So it's not that. Oh, so here, sorry. It is stated in the long biography of Atisha, composed by Nakso himself. So this is, please correct, it's not the life story of Nakso, but actually the long biography for Atisha, composed by this translator Nakso. So where it says, even though I have been associated with you in service for 19 years, I have absolutely never seen any stain of flaws from errors in your body, speech, and mind. So this is the source which Tsong Khapa used to prove that Atisha spent 17 years in Tibet.
Na ti wo telane chenge soma paran hasrwa tu kem bawa sumiche dana lona nishina che indje tongshi yesu. Dene loni lambana pet shembe tisana baka mana shinala. Dana lona chojena che indje tunena linda pela juko su. Chike suja mantawa shunwa tena ngotsa ches. Wata tani sujon disrwa. Te chesa sola tene ta lo chidito ma pela jundu yese tani sujon disrwa.
Yeah, then the continue from this the long biography of Atisha. So it says, from the time you were in Somapuri in India teaching blazing of logics, you said, after 20 years I will give up life activities. Then 2 years later, when you were coming to Tibet from Vikamala Sila, you said, after 18 years I will give up my life activities, then leave this body in Tibet. So whatever you said has happened without error. It is wonderful.
다 ngaso tise rocha da ndi ji del ngaso ti nene ma te chen ro di chala ni ndi jil chi jil kar su yon di sena ngo chonchu ge sen ji ro wa chonchu ge sen te ne tewa chen bi ju go do mo jin ju go nin kha ri se ne ane tni chi jin de yu sro wa
tewa chen ju go dang
tewa chen bo ju go do tewa chen bo la ngo do ane ti te ni do ni ro wa te ni ge go ni ju go 주권다고 수용도 있으면 주권에서는 수용도 있어. 제장안에 대화 챔피가 노인 주권도 땅 가서도 뭔지 시제지 콜추와도 놓서 대화 챔피랑 수바 뒤녀로 하셔니 이제 주권에 돼요. 그래서 아니 뭐는 주권 생에 간데서 그야네. 네 대체 더 봐이 가서 손어도나 야본데서. 로와 뭐 주권세나데 전주지 세제라 시에 마찬에니 뭐 녀서 래 맞춰 왔더니 저왜 뭐 주 맞춰 왔더니 저왜 간리 메테 아니 소소 대체
장주 쌤도 니가 주고
니가 주고를 순종도 네 치티 니가 주고를 순종도 다 니가 너가 주고 다 기대 임바체로 주세 총롱 임바체 아니 화 주고를 세레다 화 그도 세제 마셔노니 순지 세마셔나 때는 주 무초를 왜 가르래 아니 tel라 때지 수수수 돈은 나테네 뭐해서 그래서 러치민으로 들치지 그래.
Okay, so there's not much time left for tonight's teaching, and what in the what we study after this. So in there's a one part where it says that it talks about the bodhicitta mind, and then it says in this text that the bodhicitta is the entrance, is an entrance door to sutra, to sutrayana as well as the tantra, sutra and tantra. So with that statement, so those who are familiar with this teaching on the bodhicitta, so we all know that how that bodhicitta is the entrance door to Mahayana path, which is the Sutrayana path, like it is the upon the cultivation of bodhicittas, then you commence the first part of Mahayana, which is the part of accumulations. So which you already know that. But in here, it is also said that bodhicitta is also the entrance door to tantra. So what does that? So I just want you to give a thought on that. What does that mean? Whether it means that in order to when you cultivate bodhicitta, are you also entering into tantric practice, or exactly, or in order to engage in tantric practice, or do you have to have bodhicitta? So what does that exactly mean? When this text made that statement, so just I want you to give a thought on this. Thank you.